Okay, part 2. Right, so we were at the point where we were going to add up all the x minus x bar all squareds. We have got 441 plus 256 plus 625 plus 9 and 1600 and another 625. So at 3556, 3556, and that is the entire top line. So we have got our standard deviation is the square root of 3556 divided by n minus 1. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 minus 1 is 5. We are not going to get a whole number here. We've got the square root of 3556 divided by 5. I am going to do that in one fell swoop. Because of the way this calculator works, I'm going to do the 3556, oh, too many. 3556 divided by 5 equals, and then I'm going to hit the square root button. And there's my answer. 26.668 and a whole load of numbers. So that's to 3 decimal places. I have got 26.688, and that is to 3 decimal places. Right, that is part 1. This is A. There's going to be a B. So the area, in area B, the last 6 apartments gave a mean of 190,000 and a standard deviation of 16. So we had got a mean of 150,000 and a standard deviation, if you remember, of 26.7. So, to compare these two, we need to do 2 separate sentences. I'm going to use the typing function for this. We want to compare the averages and then comment on how consistent the results are. Excuse me. So, on average, our average house price in area A is smaller than our average house price in area B. So, on average, area B has a higher price than area A. And our second sentence, 2 valid comments, so we want to now compare the standard deviation. Because 16 is smaller than 26, that means our consistency is more consistent with area B. Area B prices are more consistent. Okay, and that's all they need from you. Right. These questions are set to trick you. You're sitting here thinking, oh no, I've got a trigonometry question. I'm going to have to draw loads of things and do loads of stuff. No, you're not. Think of it as algebra. We need to find x. Let's get x on its own. Then we can deal with the whole between 0 and 360 bit. CAST is really good for that, or using your cosine graph. That's down the line. First step, rearrange for cos x, and then use inverse cos to find x. Okay, so rearrange. We have got 5 cos x minus 1 equals 3. So, oh, I need to turn my pen back on. We've got 5 cos x is going to be 3 plus 1. So if 5 cos x is 3 plus 1, 5 cos x is 4. So cos x is 4 divided by 5. So x is the inverse of that. 4 divided by 5. Remember, you input it in however your calculator takes it. Most take the sign to the -1 first. So that's 53.13. I'm just going to call it 53 degrees to the nearest degree. And we want it between 0 and 360. Well, that's given us a value between 0 and 90. The next time that we get a 53, if you use cast, because we're dealing with cos, we're going to have 53 is like there, so we're looking at here. So if that's 53, then it's coming back 53 from our 0 or our 360 if you prefer. Well, you do need to. The alternative is to look at it that way. 53 is here. Actually, it's about here. And we've got our 90 here. We've got our 180. We've got our 270. So our 50 is about here, 53-ish. So we're going to have it again about here. Okay? So it's going to be somewhere between 270 and 360. So x also equals 360. That's terrible. 360 minus our 53, which is 307 degrees. That's our two values. And that's all they need from us. We are allowed to have two values because it's between 0 and 360. Right, find the length of side PR in this triangle. We have got two angles on one side, and we're looking for this side. We don't have a cosy angle here. If we had this side and this side and this one, we could find that one. So we're going to be using opposites. We've got opposite here, and we need this opposite. So that's going to be the sine rule. And because we're looking for a side, we want it this way up. And we need this angle here at Q before we can start. So we know three angles in a triangle add up to 180. So let's deal with that first. 180 minus 36 and minus 63 will give us at the angle at Q. Calculator paper, don't need to tax your brain, you can use the calculator. Minus 63 and 36 is 81. Okay, next step. We know that that is 81 degrees. We are looking for the side PR, and that is over sine 81 is equal to this 5.8 over sine of this angle, so sine 63. And if we rearrange, we get PR is equal to 5.8 times sine 81 all divided by sine 63, which is going to be tricky on this calculator, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Right, 5.8 times, I need brackets, my 81, and it's the sine of my 81. We're not doing inverses here. And then I am going to hit equals and divide by my 63, my sine 63, and I get 6.429, which is they've given us to 1 decimal place there, so PR equals 6.4 centimeters. Okay, there's a point for recognizing the sine rule and putting in the numbers in the right place. There's a point for recognizing that you need to find the 81 degrees before you can do that, and there's a point for your final answer. Right. Question 10. Miss C's been on a diet and has lost 8% of the weight she was before she started her diet. She now weighs 73.6 kilos. How much did she weigh before she started her diet? Let's start with, where is our 100%? This is the sort of question that will turn up in the first half of the paper. It's not usually near the middle. So she's been on a diet and she has lost 8%. This is not the 100%. This is after she's lost the 8%. So we have 100 take away 8, which is 92%, and that equals that. So 73.6 is 92%. We want 100%. So we need to do a reverse percentage. So that's our 73.6, and we are going to divide by our 92, that should be a 9, and times by 100. Or if you prefer, you could do it as 0.92 as your divider. I do prefer it that way actually. 73.6 divided by our 0.92 gets us 80. Remember, it was 80 kilograms, so put the kilograms on it. Okay. Right, a spherical piece of modelling clay has a diameter of 8.2 centimetres. We're told it's a sphere and it's 8.2 centimetres. Calculate the volume correct to 2 significant figures. There's quite a bit going on here. Our formula for a sphere, volume of a sphere, is 4/3 pi r cubed. Our radius is half our diameter, so r is 4.1 centimetres. You don't need to put the centimetres. And we need to work that out correct to 2 significant figures. So we've got 4/3 pi 4.1 cubed on our calculator. So I'm going to do my 4.1 cubed first. I'm going to times that by pi, I'm going to times that by 4, and I'm going to divide that by 3, and I get an answer of 288.6956. I'm going to round that because it says it wants it to 2 significant figures. I'm going to start off by rounding that to 288.7, so that's approximately 288.7, and we want to correct to two significant figures, not two decimal places, two significant figures. So we want to look at the first two numbers, look at the one after it, that's an 8, which makes this 8 round up. So we have got 290, we need the 0 because there's decimal point there, we need to hold that place. It's 290 centimetres cubed for volume, and that's our final answer. Now we're going to use that answer in part B. The clay is remodelled into a cone with a radius of 5 centimetres. Calculate the height of the cone. This is where you need to look back at your formula sheet again. That's not my formula sheet, here we go. Volume of a cone, I don't know if you can see that, it's 1/3 pi r squared h. So I will write that down here. Volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h, and we're going to use that fact up here. So we know that the volume is 290, and we know our radius is 5, so we've got 1/3 pi 5 squared h. Rearrange to get h on its own, we can tidy this up. 5 squared is the same as 25. So I'm going to tidy up. This third is multiplying the whole top, so it'll dividing the whole top, so it'll multiply on the other side. So I've got 3 times 290. I'm going to divide by my 25 and my pi, and that'll give me my h value. On my calculator I have got 3 times 290, that's 870, and I have got my 25 pi divided by 25 pi. I don't think it did that. Right, okay, that's why I wrote it down. 25 times pi is approximately 78.54. Alright, your calculators will probably be able to give you a more accurate result. So I've got 870 divided by 78.54, and I get 11.077. So I've got the height equals approximately 11. I'm going to do approximately 11 centimeters. Okay. Right. Now we've got to solve the equation 3x squared minus 5x minus 7 equals 0. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. This one is forcing you to not factorise but to use the formula. Remember, it's the first formula on your formula sheet. So if I can close them out, just really annoying me. Right. Oh, too far. Here we go. The roots of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 are x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Right. So, just as a little reminder for you, I'm going to do the x equals and write the whole thing up here for you. So I've got minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I've noticed a few of you have got a bad habit of putting only the back part over 2a. Even the front part is over the 2a. Don't forget that. Right, so we have got our a value our B value and our C value. We need to input them and watch out for the minus signs. So x equals minus b. b is minus 5, so minus minus, so we've got plus 5. Plus or minus the square root of b squared is minus 5, so we've got minus 5 squared is 25. Minus 4 times 3 times minus 7. Don't forget to take the minuses with you. And it's all over 2 times 3. Now I'm going to deal with the bit inside the bracket, the square root first. So I've got 25 minus, well, I've got a minus times a minus, so I'm going to have a plus. 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 7. Well, 11 times 7 is 77, plus 7 would make it 84. You've got a calculator, feel free to use it. 84 plus 25. I've got 84 plus 25. Oh, that's not a 20. 25 is 109. That's not a square number, so we're not going to get a nice answer. We have x equals 5 plus the square root of 109, all divided by 6. And we also have x equals 5 minus the square root of 109, all divided by 6. We have got x equals, that's a terrible x. So 109 square rooted is that. So I'm going to add 5 and I'm going to divide by 6 and I'm going to get 2.573, and it wants corrected 2 decimal places. So the 3 means we round down, so 2.57. And we have x equals 5 minus, this is going to be trickier. So I've got 5 minus, and now I'm going to have to use brackets for mine because of the way it does the square root. Oh, 109 square rooted, close that square root, equals, and divide by 6 equals, so I have minus 0.906, that's 6 will make that into a 1, minus 0.91. Okay, I've got my 2 answers and I've done both to 2 decimal places. Okay. Right. This is another one that's more likely to turn up in question 1, 2 or 3 on a paper than it is to turn up at the back end. In March, 1.6 times 10 to the 9 different people visited website A. Website B got 2.85 times 10 to the 8. How many times the number of visitors to website B does website A attract? We're interested in A. A is bigger. We're doing a division because we want the number of times. So if we're doing a division and we want our number to be bigger than 1, we want our bigger number on the top. So the equation we're putting in is 1.6 times 10 to the power 9 divided by 2.85 times 10 to the power 8. Your calculator may or may not be capable of this in one fell swoop. Mine isn't. So I'm going to convert them. So I have got 1, 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dot. Yep. Divided by 285. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits after the first number. Okay, I'm going to stick that into my calculator. I am going to get an answer. So I have got 1, 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need one more 0. Right, divided by 2, 8, 5 and 6 zeros. 3, 4, 5, 6. Got to be careful with this, it keeps doing double zeros on me. So I have an answer of 5.6140 and loads of bits. So I can say 5.614 times to 3 decimal places. Okay? Right. Expressed as a single fraction in its simplest form. We've got a fraction divided by a fraction. So we have got 2x over y. Remember, when you divide in a fraction, you multiply and flip the second fraction. 3y over 4x squared. You can now multiply straight across and then cancel down, or you can cancel down first. I've got a y on the bottom here, I've got a y on the top here, I can cancel them. I've got an x on the top here, I've got an x squared on the bottom here, so I can cancel out one of them, leaving me just x. I've got a 2 here and a 4 here. That 2 can cancel with that 4, giving me 2 down here. In total, I have got 3 left on the top and 2x left on the bottom. If you chose to multiply that out, you would have had 2 times 3 is 6xy over 4x squared y, and then you could have cancelled your y's off, your x off, and got 3 over 2 and an x, getting you the same answer, 3 over 2x. It's personal preference, and no, that did not need a calculator. It is still a calculator paper question. Right, cylindrical pipes are stacked as shown in the diagram. The diameter of each pipe is 18 centimeters. Calculate the height of the stacked pipes shown. Right, so I know there to there is 18. I know, nope, that one is the one I actually need to work out. So I am going to remove that and try that again. I need to work out the entire height. I know this is 18 to there, and I know that's 9. So 18 plus 9 is 27. That is a tricky one to work out, so we'll work out the hypotenuse here, because we've got a right angle triangle going on. So I've got a 9, I've got an 18, I've got another 18, and I've got another 9. So that's 3 lots of 18, which I could work out in my head if I really wanted to, but it's calculator paper. So I've got 54. So if I redraw that triangle, I've got 54, I've got 27, and I've got my unknown, which is not quite the height, because we've got a 9 at the bottom and a 9 at the top. But it gets us the centre of it. So we have got 54 squared minus 27 squared equals our x squared. Remember Pythagoras theorem, the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. We're looking for one of the other sides, so we're going to be doing a takeaway. You need to square everything. So we have got 54 squared, oh, wrong button. 54 squared is 2916, and 27 squared is 49. That's not 27 squared. 27 squared is 729. You can skip that step if your calculator will do it in one fell swoop. Mine's is not the greatest. 2916. Take 729 is 2187. And that is x squared. So x is the square root of that. So I want to square root it. 46.765. So I'm going to say 46.8. And then I need to add in that height of 9 and that height of 9. So I need to add 18 and I get my final answer. I'm going to do 64.8. Okay. That's a 4-pointer. You have to be careful with these questions. There's lots of bits. Just watch what they've drawn. That would turn up towards the end of a paper. Okay, here we have a graph has equation of the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, so a standard parabola. We're told given that a is smaller than 0 and b squared minus 4ac equals 0, so our discriminant equals 0, we have to draw a possible graph. Now, because our discriminant equals 0, that means it touches the x-axis in one point only. So it just touches it. And because a is smaller than 0, that makes it a negative value. Negative values mean our graph goes up, touches, and comes back down. That's a terrible drawing, but it would pass because it touches, it doesn't cut through, and it's a negative graph. That's all you need for that. Quick 2 points. Okay, here we have a bearings question. They are highly likely to give you a bearings question this year because it's the first year bearings are back. A ship sails on a bearing of x degrees from port A to port B, a distance of 20 kilometers. At B it changes course and sails a further 7 kilometers to port C, where it is now due east of A. If C is due east of A, then we know that this whole thing is 90 degrees and it's 24 kilometers away. Use the information given to calculate the bearing on which the ship sailed from A to B. So we want to work out this so that we can work out that. Okay? Now, we don't have any information about any of the other angles, so we can't use sine rule. That leaves us with the cosine rule. The cosine rule, when we are looking for an angle, if I can find it, when we're looking for an angle, is cos A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared all over 2bc. Okay, so that is cos A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared all over 2bc. And remember, we'll have to inverse cos to find A. So we have got our angle A, nicely labelled, our side A, our angle B, our side B, our angle C, and our side C. So we are going to do cos A is b squared, so 24 squared plus 20 squared minus 7 squared all over 2 times 24 times 20, and we'll get our calculator to tell us what cos A is, just shift that over this side just now. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Ah. No, thank you. Right, that was fun. So 24 squared, 576. 20 squared, right, 20 squared, 400, and minus 7 squared, 400, plus 576, minus 49. Is 927, and we've got 2 times 24 times 20. Nope, I keep hitting the wrong buttons on this. 2 times 24 times 20. I did it again. 2 times 24 times 20. 960. There we go. So we need to find cos A before we can find A. Now we need inverse cos. So we need to do 927 divided by 960, and I need to inverse cos, and I get 15.066. I'm just going to call that 15. It's 15 degrees. So our angle X is 90 minus 15, which is 75 degrees, which is a bearing. Remember, bearings are always 3 digits. So it's a bearing of 0.75 degrees. If you don't give it as 3 digits, you won't get your answer. Okay, that's why it's worth 5 points. And finally, solve the equation 5 cos x minus 3 equals 0 for between 0 and 360. Again, this is one where we need to rearrange and use the inverse cos function. So we have 5 cos x will equal 3. So cos x, I just got into a bad habit with my s's there, is 3 divided by 5, so x is 3 divided by 5. Ooh, still got that in there. 3 divided by 5. And I want the inverse cos. I get 0.99. Really? Try that again. 3 divided by 5 equals trigonometry, second function of cos. I thought that looked weird. Yeah, 53.13 to 2 decimal places. Remember, you can either do a cos graph or you can do cast to remind you of where to look for your next answer. Because it's cos, it's in here, so it's in here. So this is my 360 takeaway. And on my calculator I get 360 minus 53.13 equals 306.87 degrees. There's my 2 values and I am done. And that's the end of the paper. Hopefully that wasn't too horrendous. Feel free to go back through things. Anything you're stuck on, let me know. There were not any vector questions in that. I do expect vectors to come up this year, so we will look at them in class in past paper examples as well. Okay, Good luck.